Hi, it's Suzanne Alexander, and I head up the LiveLikeLou Foundation and our partnership with Phi Delta Theta International Fraternity. I'm making this video because I wanted to give the brothers of Phi Delta Theta the background information on the creation of LiveLikeLou, and specifically the role that your brother, Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse, played in inspiring LiveLikeLou, and also your brother, Neil Alexander, who was my husband. And the role he played in creating this organization, and it's just taken off ever since. And I'm so proud of our partnership with Phi Delta Theta Fraternity and the work that we're doing together to leave ALS better than we found it. I'm going to try to go quick, so just want to make sure you have the background that you need when you're out there talking about ALS, when you're talking about Lou Gehrig, and you're talking about our mission. You have what you need. So let's get started. Some of you may have seen these hats or this logo, number 4. That's certainly an important image for LiveLikeLou. Lou Gehrig's number was number 4. He was number 4 in the lineup when he batted and played first base for the New York Yankees back in the 1920s and 30s. And you might have seen this t-shirt or this term, onward. You might see it on our website. You might see it on our Facebook page. You might see it on the shirts. You might see it in when we write social media posts, the word onward. So I'm going to talk a little bit about these images and the things that they mean to us and the things that hopefully they mean to you as you move forward in your mission. But I'm going to start by telling you about my family. Hopefully you can see that. So that's my husband, Neil, and that's me kissing him. And that's my daughter, Abby, and that's her dog, Libby, kissing her. And that's our son, Patrick. And this picture was taken about 4 months after Neil's diagnosis with Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis, also known as ALS. And the reason I know it was 4 months after is because I can look at his left hand and I can see the muscle wasting, which was happening between his thumb and his index finger. And that's a telltale sign of a neurodegenerative disease in the body. When you get a diagnosis of ALS, it's a death sentence. You learn that it is 100% fatal, and you learn that every moment between your diagnosis and your death is going to be really, really hard. You're going to lose your ability to use your hands. You're going to lose your ability to walk, to feed yourself, to use your body the way you would like. You're going to learn that you will lose the ability to speak and to swallow, and ultimately your ability to breathe. And that is how people who get ALS typically die. They typically lose the ability to breathe. And you generally have between 2 to 5 years between your diagnosis and your death. Some people choose to go on life support. They choose to get a tracheotomy, and they live attached to a ventilator, and they can live for much longer than that. The rare number of people have lived many, many years. I know one man who's lived with it for 25 years. Of course, Dr. Stephen Hawking, he lived with it for almost 60 years. But typically people die within 2 to 5 years, and it is a very, very hard journey. In addition to the physical difficulties, you have the added burden of knowing everything that's happening, because it doesn't affect your brain, and strangely, it doesn't affect your eyes. So you can think and see and process everything as you would normally, but you just can't use your body at all. You can't even scratch your nose if you have an itch. It's devastating. It's financially horrible. It costs on average $250,000 to live if you choose to live with ALS each year. And that's because you need round-the-clock caregiving, round-the-clock ventilation. You need modifications to your home. You need a special vehicle. You may need equipment to communicate. Sometimes people have what they call a mouse attached to their head so they can type out things on a screen so that they can communicate. My point is, it's very, very hard. And so when this information came to Neil and I and our young kids, naturally we were devastated. It's a very hard diagnosis to get and to wrap your brain around. Neil is a history major and a big baseball buff, and he learned happily that ALS has a role model. and ALS's role model is your brother, Phi Delta Theta, Brother Lou Gehrig, who played ball for Columbia and went on to play for the Yankees. Now, the thing about Lou Gehrig is he was a hero before he got ALS. And I'm going to talk to you about some stats. And maybe you have this baseball card. And if you don't have this baseball card, you should try to get your hands on it. So get in touch with me or get in touch with your chapter brothers who attended Clayburgh, because we handed these out. And there's stats on the back of the baseball card. Lou Gehrig's stats are incredible. And even if you're not a baseball fan, they tell a great story about his physical prowess. So, for example, Lou Gehrig played first base for 16 years for the New York Yankees. That's a long time in baseball, professional baseball, to play the same position for 16 years. He played in 6 World Series championships. He made 7 All-Star appearances. And for those of you who understand baseball, it doesn't seem like a lot, but in fact, it was the very first 7 All-Star games that were ever played. So it's a big deal. He kept getting voted into the All-Star games. He had a 340 lifetime batting average. That means out of 1,000 pitches, he had a base hit 340 times for every 1,000. That's an incredible number across 16 years. You know, most baseball players don't make that number in a season. Most baseball players don't make 300 in a season. He made 340 across his entire career. So that's an incredible stat. He hit for the Triple Crown in 34. That means he had the most hits, RBIs, and home runs of any player in the MLB in that season. That was 1934. He had 1,990 RBIs, runners batted in. Again, an incredible statistic. The 5 professional baseball players who hit more than that, more than 1,990 RBIs, played 5 more seasons. Okay, so that's an incredible stat too, because the numbers speak for themselves. He had 23 Grand Slams. Grand Slam is when you hit a home run and you run in the man on third, the man on second, and the man on first. So you score 4 runs. A Grand Slam in a baseball player's career is an incredible moment. He hit it 23 times. The baseball player who broke that record was Alex Rodriguez, who was also a Yankee. And when I tell this story to little leaguers and college and high school kids, I always qualify Alex Rodriguez is a cheater. He's a cheater. He used a lot of illegal substances to build his muscles. And while we have evidence that Lou Gehrig hit his 22nd and his 23rd Grand Slam while he was in the throes of a neurodegenerative disease like ALS, Alex Rodriguez was shooting plastic into his muscles and growing his muscles illegally. So here we are 80 years later, we are still talking about Lou Gehrig, and Alex Rodriguez will probably be an asterisk in the record book because he was a cheater. So that is a nice contrast to share with especially young athletes when we talk about the Iron Horse. So speaking of the Iron Horse, that's Lou Gehrig's nickname. He played 2,130 consecutive games. For 2,130 consecutive games, Lou Gehrig never called in sick. He never had an injury that took him off the roster. He never had a headache and sat a game out. He was never too tired or hungover. Sometimes athletes are not feeling good for other reasons. Lou Gehrig showed up. For 16 years, 2,130 games, he showed up on first base. And that's an incredible stat that stood until just a few years ago when Cal Ripken of the Orioles broke that record. It's incredible, and it is the reason that he was given the nickname the Iron Horse. The Iron Horse is the nickname that Native Americans used to use when they needed a word for the train. When the locomotive started going across the United States, and it was built of steel and it was always on time, and it went through the dark and the snow and the heat and the ice and the rain, and it was always on time. It was durable, and that's why people called Lou Gehrig, your brother, the Iron Horse. This is before they called him the luckiest man. Because one day in 1930, Lou Gehrig was given the diagnosis of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. And it's quite devastating to know that this man who was the iron horse with muscles made of steel was going to die from a disease that was going to eat his muscles. It was going to kill his muscles. He knew what the disease was. He knew he was going to die. And he knew how he was going to die. And it was a devastating diagnosis for him. So when he took the microphone on July 4th, 1938, and he decided, 1939, I misspoke, 1939, and he was given an opportunity to say his final words to the world of baseball and to all the fans who helped him in his career. Instead of saying, I did this, I did that, me, I had a great time, great experience, yeah, yay me, he chose to say, fans, I might have been given a bad break, but today I am the luckiest man on the face of the earth. And that statement, that choice that he made to call himself the luckiest man, stunned America. The politicians were there, the players were there, the fans were there. It was the middle of a doubleheader on the 4th of July. The stadium was packed. The newspaper men were there. Everyone wanted to hear what the luckiest man was going to say, what the Iron Horse was going to say. And he said, I'm the luckiest man. And it shocked everybody that he would feel so lucky. If you ever have a chance to read the whole speech, it's quite a remarkable speech. It's very short. It's a very short speech, but he used his short few minutes on stage to thank a lot of people. He thanked his teammates. He thanked his coaches and his managers. He thanked the opposing teammates and their coaches and managers. He thanked the fans, of course. He thanked the ushers and the groundskeepers. He named the groundskeepers and he thanked them. He thanked his wife. He thanked his mom and dad. He thanked his mother-in-law. And for those of you who don't have a mother-in-law yet, let me tell you, this is remarkable. That's how lucky he felt. In his very last moment on the life's greatest stage, he chose to thank everyone and tell them that he felt lucky. And that's why Lou Gehrig is an inspiration for everyone who's ever been touched by the disease of ALS. And that's why Neil and I chose to call our effort Live Like Lou. Because Neil felt lucky too. Your brother, he went to University of Pittsburgh. We had a great family. We're healthy. We live in a great city. We live in Pittsburgh. He felt lucky too. Neil knew he was going to die, and he knew he was going to die in a terrible way. And he felt lucky. I'll show you a picture. This is a picture that was taken just before, it's taken about a month before he passed away. And you can see how it took his muscles. You could see what it did to his neck and his ability to hold his head up, and the swelling in his feet. He was confined to this wheelchair 24/7. He never left his wheelchair except for bathing and hygiene. 24/7 he was in this chair for 8 months. And Neil felt lucky too. And we decided together to start an effort that would raise money for ALS and for Lou Gehrig's disease, because we knew we were going to be okay. We had a good marriage. We lived in a great community. Our kids were strong. We knew we were going to be okay. So we chose to raise money and awareness for this disease. And after he passed away from ALS in 2015, we had raised $4 million for people in Western Pennsylvania who suffer with this disease, and to start a research center called the LiveLikeLou Center for ALS Research at the University of Pittsburgh. So those were our accomplishments in Western Pennsylvania, and I thought we were done. I said, okay, we did it, we're done. And then Phi Delta Theta gave me a call and said, Suzanne, Lou Gehrig was our brother. Neil was our brother. ALS has been our fraternity's cause for decades. We've raised millions. We've walked in the walks. We've helped the families. We've volunteered across the country and Canada for decades. Let's take it national. Let's make Live Like Lou a thing, a foundation. Let's work together to keep going and keep leaving ALS better than it found us, right? So here we are. So now I work for the Live Like Lou Foundation, and I work with all of you to help you raise your funds for ALS and to volunteer for families and to volunteer for kids and to help these families live with dignity and to have hope, to help fund research, to find research that we're going to move the needle on. You know, we're going to leave an impact. We're going to leave a mark on this disease. So if you are choosing to go for your Iron Fi and raise that $1,000 and do an athletic feat, if you're choosing to hold an event for your chapter or your alumni club for Live Like Lou and raise money for Live Like Lou, if you're choosing to raise money individually for us and for this disease, I wanted you to know why you're doing it and where it's going, because it's all us. Our board of directors has 4 Phi Delta Theta fraternity members on it, plus me, and we are working together to make sure that every person who raises money or volunteers for Live Like Lou can feel the impact back. Please go out to livelikeLou.org, set up your fundraiser out there, go out to the ironfistore.com, look at the gear, get a number 4 hat for yourself, wear it with pride, tell people Lou Gehrig's story. Sign up for Adopt and Serve an ALS family. There's a link on the website to tell you more about that, and volunteer for a family. Feels really good. And know that every single thing you do for Live Like Lou is going to come back to us, and it's going to help us leave this disease better than we found it. I want to tell you one more quick story. And this has to do with the t-shirt. If you don't have the t-shirt, you can get the t-shirt, but it has the word onward on it. And when Neil was here and he used to do emails or social media posts on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, he would always, whatever he was saying, come to this event, come to this 5K, come to this lemonade stand and raise money for ALS, he'd always end his messages with the word onward. And what he was meaning to convey is, look, I got this terrible thing. It's happening. I know I'm going to die. I know this disease is affecting my family, but I'm moving onward anyway. I'm going to stay focused on the things that I can control. I can't control how I'm going to live or how I'm going to die, but I can control my attitude. And so that's what he conveyed whenever he would use the word onward. And now we use it. And I hope you use it. I hope you wear it with pride. It means a lot. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this effort. We're going to do some good together. Okay. Give me a call or send an email, salexander@livelikeLou.org, or look us up on the website. Anything we can do to help you with your efforts. You're helping us. We're going to do it together. Okay. Thanks. Bye. Thanks for watching.